All right, this is a shot I see often where we block the ball out to the right and we have a very hard time squaring the club face. This is a common issue I see with players who are attempting to get forward shaft lean and also just have a little bit of instability in their body, okay? So what I see a lot with players when they're missing to the right and they're not necessarily slicing it, like the ball's not starting to the left and slicing this way, it's mostly just going right and just staying in that direction. The main thing I see with these players is twofold. One, they never let the forearms release. So in other words, they never let this right arm kind of work on top of this left arm. So you can see from a down the line perspective how that allows the toe to kind of pass the heel a little bit. And they're so obsessed with trying to get forward shaft lean that they'll start to throw their hands really far forward. And you can notice that my watch is kind of pointed up in this direction. You can see that leaves the club face open. So they never have this moment where the club face goes from a position where it's slightly toe down in this direction and has the ability to square to the club face to the ball. Okay, you can see now when I do that, my watch is more pointed down the target line. Okay, so if we excessively push the hands forward and we have this idea of trying to hold the handle in front of the club head too much, it actually leaves the face quite open. Okay, that's number one. And usually it's kind of tied to the second piece that I see a lot, where there's not a lot of stability, especially in the left leg, if you're a right-handed golfer, or the lead leg, the leg that's closest to the target. So if I just get here and I'm coming down in my downswing, then there's a lot of instability in my lower body. Well, when I come into the golf ball, my head is kind of moved forward, my lower body has kind of moved forward. There's never been any sort of braking system to where my arms can catch up and start to work in front of my body. When that happens, when I have a lot of instability in my lower body, the club face just never has that chance to snap closed, or in this case, snap square. So it's a two-part thing. When I go to the top of my swing and I start to feel like, yes, I am shifting left, but I'm also stabilizing and starting to pivot this hip and move around the corner here, that allows my body to kind of land and slow down a touch to give my arms and hands a chance to catch up. And when that happens, it allows my arms to work in front of my body. Whenever the arms are allowed to work in front of the body, we're going to start seeing some rotation to the forearms. So if I'm thinking about a brick wall next to my left leg, as I'm coming down, I'm shifting into that brick wall, and I'm not allowing myself to just lazily slide through the ball. I'm starting to pivot around the corner here. I'll notice, like, as my arms are coming into the ball, I'm starting to release the club down to the floor. You'll also notice as the club works in front of my body that the toe starts to work on the other side of the heel. So in other words, I'm not in this position where I've slid forward and I've also thrown my hands way forward. And that gives you that position of getting more of your watch kind of pointing at the target. And it starts to look in the position where the arms work in front of the body. You see the right hand kind of working on top of the left. And you'll hear people talk about the release in the golf swing. And this is kind of what's happening when we're allowed to stabilize that lead leg and we start to not feel like we're holding on to that forward shaft lean. So I like kind of working on this in two parts. So I want to get a visual aid here for your hip. Sorry, this thing's not wanting to slide with me. So I've got a stick here and I've got it kind of up against my hip. I'm going to put this the other way actually. Okay, so I've got this kind of up against my hip. Now my goal as I would come into this shot here, I don't even have a golf ball, would be to come down in my downswing and still shift left, but I want to stabilize that leg to where I don't hit this noodle here. Okay, and that's going to allow my arms to work in front of me, allow that toe to turn over, and allow me to square up the club face. So I'm going to throw this in here. And I want to put it in maybe an inch or two, maybe 3 inches, 4 inches in front of your left hip. So we don't necessarily want it directly against the hip because we do need some lateral motion in the golf swing. But it's going to get you in a position to where when you come into your downswing, your ankle, your knee, and your hip and your left shoulder will kind of all be in a line. If we've got the knee and hip kind of going past the ankle, that's going to leave that club face open. It's going to never let us release the golf club, and we'll hit those blocks out to the right. So got this noodle here We're going to try to throw that a few inches in front of my left hip. So I'm going to practice what it feels like to come into impact by stabilizing that left leg, and I can already start to feel my arms work in front of me. That's the main thing. We never want to feel like the arms are trapped behind us, the handle's too far forward, and the face is open. We want to know what it feels like to kind of break our lower body and feel our arms fling out in front of us. So you can start really slow. So I'm going to go with a 7-iron. I'm going to go really, really slow and start to feel the lower body break, start to feel the arms work out in front of me. Should help me square that club face up. Path was still a little bit to the right, but you can see the ball was trying to curve back to the left. Now once I feel a little more comfortable with it, I can throw a little speed on it and hit it more straight. Hit that really well. Should draw back. Left it out to the right a little bit, but you can see that starting to draw back. So I'm starting to feel that even though I'm still swinging from the inside, I'm starting to feel my forearms roll over. It'll get rid of that block, get you hitting it better, get you hitting it more solid, and most importantly, get rid of those blocks to the right.